Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, the revival of the podcast. And today, I have my dad once again. What's up, Dad?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Excited to be back here.
Good to be back, yeah?
Good to be back indeed.
So, today we'll be talking about money. The nature of money, why we need money, if it's valuable in our life. And we'll make another video talking about finances and stuff,
Sure.
how we should spend our money.
Mm-hmm.
But today we'll just talk about money in general.
So, what is money? What do you think is money? Is it just a number, or is it a tool? Is it something important, or is it just people may make it really sound important? What's your thought on it?
Yeah, I think money is a tool for freedom in this life.
Tool for freedom in this life. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. So it's a tool for freedom. Freedom from what?
I think money, or with money, it allows us to explore the world, and the tool that allows us to do that. Because, for example, if you want to travel the world, go around countries, visit new places, experience new cultures, you can't do that for free.
No, of course not.
That's just how the world we live in right now.
Yes.
And as much as people like to say that you don't need money or a lot of money to live your best life, which I believe is true.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to experience the life around the world is huge. And if you want to explore it, you need money. That's why I think money is a tool for which you need to be happy.
Yes, that's right. So money does allow you that freedom to do what you want to do, when you want to do,
Yeah,
how you want to do, with who you want to do,
that's right.
and that makes money important.
Yeah.
But really, is money the only reason, or is that the only way to achieve the freedom, or is there, you think, another way as well? Or you think people who have the money have the freedom, or do people who don't have the money have the freedom?
It reminds me of like when we go back to India
Mhm.
and we see the people who are in the lower class, in the sense that they, like a family of four, live in like a small house. They have the most basic of meals.
Mhm.
They don't have the newest clothes. They don't have the biggest house, etc. You see them actually happy, and from a from a first world country perspective, you'd be like, these guys are 100%, like, let's say, even sad, depressed, because they don't got a big house, they don't got a good car, they don't even have a car, they don't have all the luxuries which we take for granted, and so we think, oh yeah, they're not happy, but in reality, I'd assume that the majority of those people living in those conditions, they would not consider themselves unhappy. They don't have a lot of money. They have money to meet their ends and everything, but they're still happy despite not having a lot of money.
Interesting. So that means money and happiness are not directly related.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you require money to have happiness. But do you think money buys happiness?
I don't think money buys happiness. I think just giving you an example of people who don't seem to have so much money,
Yeah.
but they seem to be happy. And I believe it's a genuine happiness. It's not a pretend happiness.
Yeah.
But then you see a lot of people who seem to have a lot of money, and you meet them or you spend time with them and you don't think they're really happy.
No.
So it is, one thing is definitely there, that there is no direct relation between money and happiness. I'm not saying that people who have money are not happy.
Yeah.
There could be people who have money and they're happy, and there could be people who don't have money and not happy. So in a way, money and happiness have some relation,
Yeah.
but definitely money doesn't buy happiness.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
No, it doesn't buy happiness.
One thing I've heard while I've been reading about this topic, is that money doesn't buy happiness, but money buys security, and it buys a sense of protection. Like the example I heard was that someone who's earning minimum wage and just earning enough to pay their monthly rent, for example, the second they pay their rent, they're already thinking about or worrying about the next rent that they have to pay, right? From the first day. So those 31 days are all like, I have to make enough money to pay the next rent. And then that cycle keeps going on. But the person who has an abundance of money, they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about their bills, they'll have to pay no matter what if they want to exist in this world. They don't worry about that. So money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys a sense of security and protection. And that buys happiness.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that the money buys you the security, and that sense of having the security of not having to worry about the future gives you happiness as a result of this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good correlation. So in a way, I think money can buy you comfort.
Facts.
If you need a car and you have the money and you need to drive somewhere every day, and if you only have a push bike, and you think if you had a scooter or a car, it'll save you time and give you more comfort. So
Fact.
money can buy comfort. But again, coming back to the happiness and money, it buys the security, but you can still have the security. But does that also automatically mean that you'll have happiness?
That's yeah, true. Because discomfort mean happiness as well.
Yes.
Because a lot of people would say that, even I've seen in my life, that when I'm comfortable for a long period of time, it's like I'm short-term happy, not long-term happy. It feels good in the moment to be comfortable, but that doesn't really progress me anywhere in my life in the future. I kind of stay stagnant for that period of time.
So the question is then, if the money doesn't buy the happiness, I think this another topic for another day is what actually is happiness and how do you get happiness?
But if you want to see a video about that, I think that would be a really interesting topic, because my dad has more experience than me and he's older than me, while I'm more of your generation, 22 years old. I probably think differently of him. So if you want to see an episode of that, subscribe, comment, make sure you like this video.
And it'll be interesting. I'll love to wind back and see myself as 22-year-old and what was going on in my mind, and then try and relate with what you think.
Yeah.
And then we can fast forward and then see what happens between 22 and the next 20, 30, 40 years.
Of course.
But the point is, again, going back to the money, the one other question that I really think people need to know and understand as to how much money is enough money.
How much money is enough?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Because you can have a lot of money, people can have lots and lots and lots of money,
Yep.
and they still may think that they need more money.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line? And how much money is enough for you to actually think that, okay, now rather than working for money, I want the money to work for me, or rather than running after money, I'm more focused on other things in life.
Yeah. I'd say the ego plays a big role in this. Because Ego, yeah.
Right.
Because I think in general, we don't need that much money, which you probably think like, millions and millions. You actually don't need that much money to be extremely happy in your life. I say ego, or I bring up ego, because people want to live lifestyles that are grand and big and kind of flashy to show off. And, to have that lifestyle, it ain't cheap. It'll cost you a lot of money. And when you're trying to maintain that lifestyle, your money keeps going and going away. And it's feeding your ego, which is what you want. But I don't think you're truly happy in that. Because the nature of our ego is that we cannot satisfy everyone in this world. No matter how much money you have, no matter how you look, what features you have, whatever. There will always be people who just don't like something about you, or don't agree with something you say, etc. This is inevitable. And so if you're trying to live a lifestyle which is flashy or too big, this is just one example, but any lifestyle like this, which costs a lot of money to appeal for other people, it's not sustainable. And I do not believe personally that great happiness or true inner happiness will come from that.
That's interesting, because if the true happiness has to come from inside and it's not directly related with money, what you're saying is that you're happy that you have money till you meet someone who has more money than you, and then suddenly you start feeling that you're not quite there. I remember reading a story of 3 friends who met after a long time in Sydney. There was a big event, and I think they were all going to fly from Sydney to another place.
Yeah.
And they just happened to catch up for a cup of coffee. and the one person was taking a economic flight, just
Yeah.
as a normal flight.
Yeah.
And the other friend was actually flying first class. So he
Wow.
was really excited. He said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm flying first class," and he was like boasting about it.
Yeah.
And then the third person said, "Hey, why don't you just don't worry about your tickets? Come with me. I got a private jet."
Oh my god. That's funny. That's great.
So suddenly the person was boasting about flying first class.
Yeah.
How did he feel?
He must have felt like, oh man, I'm not living it enough. I'm not making enough.
I'm not making enough.
Yeah.
And the person who was flying the economy class was thinking, "Oh, this guy is like who the flying first class has everything that I can possibly want."
Yeah.
So it's all relative, isn't it?
It's all relative.
Now they're all getting to the same place. They're all flying,
Mm.
but the state of mind. So obviously the money, what the one friend had to the other,
Yeah.
is very different level.
Oh yeah.
But their happiness. Imagine if this person had met someone who couldn't afford to fly,
Mm.
and someone was taking a train or maybe driving just because they couldn't afford it,
Yeah.
and he'll be happier.
So it's like the comparison thing is really what sets it apart, right?
That's correct.
It's like, I mean, I know a lot of people, because most people fly economy, that's just the truth.
True.
And if we compare that to first class, like that's crazy. Like first class would be like the dream come true, right? If you can actually afford that, that's, you've pretty much made it in life. But then comparing that to a private jet is like top 0.00001%.
Same.
And I'm sure the first class person would have felt a bit inferior in that sense. And that's ego as well, right? Because he's comparing himself to another person. Doesn't mean he's an inferior being at all, but he can feel that way. And so, and one thing upon that as well is the feeling of inferiority or not being superior to the other is common to the low to middle class as well. Because if a low person, let's say the person who has to drive to their location can't afford to take the plane, even though the plane is, let's say, the more common route, that person who's driving will still feel inferior to the person taking economy. So that inferior feeling is there. And then when the economy person compares themselves to the first class, they're feeling inferior. See the commonality? They both have the feelings of being inferior.
Mm-hmm.
And money doesn't change that.
Hmm.
Because we're talking economy and lower class and middle class and high class. It's all, if you're comparing yourself, you'll not feel happy.
So really, it's a comparison that is a problem.
Yeah.
Not having enough money.
Yeah.
And is ego related with this tendency to compare with others?
I think that's the whole ego.
That's the whole ego.
I think ego is just, I don't know the formal definition of it, but ego is just trying to be better or trying to be better than the people around you.
Right. So that means really it's not the money that we should be discussing. We should be discussing the ego. And
Yeah.
then I think the money is just one method
Mm.
of ego or addressing the issue of ego.
Mm.
People try to address it by the money, but some people could try to address an ego by higher education or
Yep.
having power,
Yeah.
political influence, or
Facts.
many different things as well.
Yeah.
So if it is the ego which is the root cause of some of these problems,
Mm.
then maybe we should all look inside and analyze and see whether we are being driven by some kind of inner ego that is driving us to acquire things and compare with others and change our feeling of being happy or unhappy.
Yeah. So then if you're chasing money to become or to be better than other people, that's a never ending
Never-ending process.
Never ending process. It's like running a treadmill for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Without the off button, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly right. So I think I've seen people, and I've not personally seen, but I've read about the people who seem to have everything in the world, but they're still unhappy because they're always looking to get more and more and more.
Yeah.
So in a way they're rich, but in my opinion, they are poor people because they have a poor mindset.
That's right.
So if you have a rich mindset versus poor mindset, I think the amount of money is then immaterial.
That's perfect, because back to like what I said, I mean what we talked about in the beginning with the poor people in India who don't have a lot of money but they're really happy. If they have the rich mindset, they're like, look, I've got a loving family, I've got shelter, we're eating food every day. What else do I need?
What else I need? Yes.
And he's genuinely happy. compared to people who have, to take things for granted like hot water, electricity, a big house, multiple rooms, and they're still sad. I mean, they don't really know.
I heard somewhere that happiness is in small things and success is in big things.
Okay.
So happiness is small things. And small things could be just playing with a child.
Yeah.
And just imagine you give a little chocolate to a child and the happiness that child has and the happiness that brings it in your life.
Yeah.
So the happiness in small things and those small little things that happen on a day-to-day basis. Success in the big things, because definition of success is different for every person.
Real.
So for a student who is in university, maybe for him success is graduation.
Yeah.
Or someone who is studying year 11 or 12, and for that person success could be getting into university.
Yeah.
Or an Olympian running, success could be getting a medal, but someone getting into Olympics could be success. So success is a different definition for everyone. And that's why they say success doesn't buy you happiness, but the small things, little things in life, that is what gives you real happiness. And quite often running for success, we forget those little things.
Forget those little things.
And that is depriving us of the happiness. So happiness is not a destination. It's just a journey.
It's a journey. And it's not to say that money doesn't buy happiness directly, but money can be a pathway to happiness.
To happiness.
However, it doesn't mean that you need money to be happy.
I agree.
I think that's a good place to end it, right?
Yes. I also said, heard somewhere that happiness, don't get everything to be happy, but be happy to get everything.
Don't get everything to be happy, but be happy with everything.
Be happy to get everything.
Be happy to get everything.
Yes. So you think,
okay.
if I get everything, then I'll be happy.
Yes.
We're saying that be happy and then you'll get everything.
That's beautiful. Because otherwise, you'll be wanting more and more things.
Yes.
It's like, I remember actually, but last thing, when I was younger, and I used to get like birthday presents, for example, I would be really happy for a little while. And then, but you'd always say like, oh, I wonder what's next. Obviously not as an evil way at all, like no evil intentions. Like, oh, I wonder what's next. And I always used to be like, oh my God, like Dad, like why do you say that? Like now I can't enjoy this because I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to need next. But I think you indirectly taught me a life lesson there. That even though when I get something material, which you paid money for, which is probably expensive because, there'll always be something after that which will again bring me happiness. And so it'll be a never ending cycle. Right?
It's never ending cycle.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And how many people are inside that trap?
Everyone. Most people are, I think.
The majority.
You need some wisdom to come out of the trap. So you need to really stand outside and look at yourself and your situation.
Yeah.
And analyze and then think whether this person, what he has got at this point in time, maybe there are millions or billions of people probably would be dying to get anyway close to him.
Yeah.
So is that not the reason, good enough reason to be happy?
Honestly. Yeah. So it's all perspective in the end.
It is.
Wow.
It's been a very nice discussion, Dave. I appreciate it.
Was it good?
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here. We will have many more episodes coming, guys. Trust. Whether you're listening to us on an app or you're watching the video, thank you for listening to us. We hope you enjoyed.
And hope you can relate to it and learn something from it. Because life is just moments and the moments are slipping away. So don't let the life slip away from your hands. Enjoy, be happy.
Yeah, because it's the last video we made was a few months ago. So the time's already gone by. And we hope that from the time that you watched our last episode to now, you've hopefully improved yourself, because that's what it's all about. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.